In this lesson, I'm going to show you a few STS configuration changes that will facilitate the use of Spring Security. For the first change, we're going to take a look at the Servers tab in the bottom left-hand side of the editor. This is the Pivotal TC server, or our Tomcat server, where we're going to be running our web application that we will secure throughout the course. Click on the server and right-click and then hit Start. You may encounter an error. This error is caused by having a space in the fully qualified path where you have installed STS. So I'm going to show you how to fix this issue. We'll actually need to close STS because that server's hung at the moment, and we'll open it back up, and then I'll show you the fix. Double-click on the server in the Servers tab, and this will open up a new editor tab. And we're going to click on the Open Launch Configuration link. And from here, we're going to navigate to the Arguments tab. Scroll down to the end of your configuration. And we just need to surround that value in quotes. And then if you're on Windows, you will need to change every / to a \. Hopefully, in the future, this will not be an issue for you. Once that is placed, click on Apply and then hit OK. And now we can go back and start our server. And let's make sure that it is successful at this point. Here it's going to ask us to allow the server to connect to networks. We're going to grant access. We see that our server has successfully started. Now we can run a web application on the server, and we're going to work to secure that with Spring Security. When we run web applications, we're viewing them in a browser. On the menu item named Window, click there, and then scroll down to Web Browser, and then click on Firefox. That's going to have STS use Firefox as your default browser. With that in place, the next thing I'd like to show you is to configure your Spring perspective. So we know in Eclipse there's perspectives, and that's basically the layout of the windows within the tool. I normally don't use the outline. I also don't use the Spring Explorer. And when we close those two, our editor becomes larger, which is exactly what I'm after. Close our server tab there. And here we have this dashboard tab. I really don't use this very often, so in order to make that go away, we can click on Window, go to Preferences, and then just type Dashboard. And here you can click on the News Feed Updates and disable that checkbox, and then hit OK. Then just close your dashboard, and you should no longer see that when you start up STS. The final thing I'm going to show you is how to import preferences from another instance of Eclipse or STS into this instance. And this can be very helpful because if you're like me, I'm very shortcut oriented. Most people tend to gravitate that way as they continue to work with the tool. If you are using shortcuts heavily, you may want to first go to your instance of Eclipse that has all of your shortcuts and your customizations. Go to File, Export, and then just type Preferences. Double-click on Preferences, and just make sure Export All is checked. And here you'll see it's going to kick out your JREs, your code style preferences, your compiler preferences, also your key bindings. And once we have that selected, we just click on Browse. And now we're going to say where we want to put those preferences. I'm just going to call it prefs2 for my file name. And I'm going to place it on my desktop. Once we've specified the location of the file we want to create, we just hit Finish. And I must already have a prefs2, so we'll overwrite it. If we look at the desktop, there you see prefs2. Now I have exported my preferences from another instance of Eclipse, and I'm storing that in prefs.epf. So what I'm going to show you now is how to pull those preferences into STS so that you can have all your favorite keystrokes and key bindings, as well as your JREs, available for you. So just go to File, Import, type Preferences, double-click on Preferences, and now hit Browse. And now you just navigate to that Preferences file, prefs.epf for me. And there you'll see it's going to pull in the JREs, my code style preferences, my key preferences. I hit Finish, and now I should have all of my preferences available to me. In this lesson, we just took a look at some customizations we can make to STS that will help us during our development and will also help you follow along in the course because our editors are going to be very similar.